I don't know if it's the time in my life, if it's my age. I don't know, but I seem to be lonely a lot. I've been posting all these videos, and it makes me think about the reflection of myself that I'm creating for so many people. And it's interesting to see the contrast of some of those reflections that I have. Some of you know me in real life. You've never heard me say fuck. Never, not in the years you've known me. I've never said that word around you. And that's really me. However, other people that have never known me to miss an opportunity to say a motherfuck. And that's also me. That's still me. And then other people, they are only aware of my fitness hobbies, and then other people are only aware of my psychedelic hobbies. And so having to create things that are kind of dealing with all these contrasting versions of myself that I have created. And it makes, well, who really am I? You know what I mean? Who am I really? And I think I've been able to get a little bit more clarity on who I really am versus who I want you to think I am. And I think that's an interesting thing that I'm seeing, because I look at everybody else's Instagram. Everybody else looks fucking perfect. You guys all buying houses, relationships, beautiful partners, fucking selling houses. And then I think to myself, I'm fucking making the Lonely Stoner show at 1 a.m. on a Wednesday. It feels a little bit like in class when you're doing the assignment, you think you're doing good. You look around, everybody's doing like a way different thing than you're doing. And you thought you're doing good, and it seems like you're following the instructions. And you gotta decide, am I gonna keep doing what I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing, or am I gonna just stop what I'm doing for no other reason than it looks like that's what everybody else is doing? And like, that's kind of the spot that I'm at, and I'll let you know how it goes. The choices that I've made have distinct and palpable challenges, but I'm not regretting all of them, even though they've led to difficult outcomes. Another thing I think about, especially with posting all these videos, and there's all these different kind of fragmented reflections of who I am, and then I start to think about that's just extrapolated on the internet over a few minutes or a few seconds. Then I think about in real life, what versions of me am I? And then I think about what versions of me accomplished really great goals. Which versions of me was that? Let's do more of that. And then you inevitably have to think about like, fuck, which version of me like ruined the relationship? Which version of me disappointed everyone? And it's interesting to reflect and see not only which versions of me have existed, but which versions of me I put energy into to promote and to grow. And some of the versions of me I really like. I think they're fucking the tits. Other versions of me, I can see that my perspective was wrong, and that doesn't feel good. Oh, it feels bad. But I can see, yeah, Andrew, you dropped the ball on that one. That was a mistake for sure. And the only thing that softens that realization is the knowledge that that didn't feel good, and we've now learned that lesson, and we're not gonna do that again. And that's the only way that we would have figured it out, you know? I feel that loneliness is a little bit of the price that I have to pay to be able to focus on all these other things in my life. Like, you know how much effort it takes to set up this stupid fucking thing and set up that and set up the camera, and then I'm gonna have to edit this and post it? Do you know how impossible that would be if I had a girlfriend or a wife or kids? Because it's It's hard. My mind would rather just fucking just sit and watch TV and get high and not have to make a video and not have to talk and not have to do stuff. And if I had a partner or teammate who was like, Andrew, let's just go have sex and get high and fucking eat hamburgers. I mean, I can't beat that. This last year and a half is the longest stretch of my entire adult life that I've never had a girlfriend. I feel like being alone is the right thing right now, because for the type of partner that I would want, I would not be able to match. I wouldn't be able to match. Like, my entire life revolves around fucking going to school, making these videos, trying to survive. I don't have the bandwidth to pay for what I would want in a relationship. The other thing that's crazy is, you know, my entire life essentially used to revolve around sex and trying to have sex and feeling validation through sex. And once I found a way to resolve that in my mind, it was like I had a whole extra day, like years of my life to do shit now. And once I stopped trying to make sex the center of my life, all of a sudden the amount of time that I had to do shit, it was insane. Like, the only reason that you're watching this video is because I was like, you know what, Andrew, maybe we should spend some time trying to build something instead of just endlessly consume. And I gotta tell you, I'm pleased with my choices. I used to really overvalue attractiveness. I used to feel some level of validation if I was just with attractive people. I used to think, oh, see, I'm one of the team, I'm one of the group, that must mean I'm attractive. I didn't have enough self-esteem to believe in myself, so I was always looking to borrow. And I used to not be able to say no to an attractive person simply because I valued attractiveness so much and I saw it as such a scarce resource. You would not believe the absolute bullshit I got myself in. You know, one time this girl had me cut down a tree. I'm not an arborist. I don't have any equipment. I show up to her house and she's like, hey, oh, real quick, can you help me chop down a tree? And okay, sure, no problem. I'll tell you what, it was a problem, a big problem. It was oh my God, it was terrible. I didn't have health insurance. I would have been better off just doing drugs at home, because that was a disaster. And the other amount of, I would drive so far to meet like a Tinder match. Then you realize, like, bro, the value of sex is actually like very low. Like, it's in terms of commodities, it's one of the most common accessible commodities, and it can seem like it's not. And I understand, I had that experience too, but it is, in fact, like, it's harder to get oranges. There's less access to oranges than there is to sex. Isn't that odd? Like, there's less access to clean, fresh water than there is to sex. Think about that for a second. Next time you think like, oh wow, this person's really attractive, I'm gonna let this bullshit slide. Think about how much access you have to clean drinking water. Now, if you're in Philadelphia or some of these other places in the United States, this really doesn't apply to you, unfortunately. But for most of you, that's how common the the commodity of sex and attractiveness is. And like, when you take a step back, you then realize, wow, I've been wasting my time on a bunch of bullshit. Maybe I should try to build something for the future. And you know, I'll like your YouTube channel, I'll subscribe, I can't probably afford to buy your art or table or whatever else you can make, but I'll share it on the internet, buddy. I'll do that for you. I don't know, I started off feeling very lonely, but I feel better after talking to you a little bit. I can't believe you stayed this long. I'm not even going to edit the end of this, so it's going to have the long pauses and everything. That's how we're going to know that we're on the same team here. We're unified. Damn, that's crazy. I'm in this room alone. I mean, I'm here with you. You're not in the room with me yet. I'm talking to you right now, and you're just going to hear me in the near future. Um, but I really legitimately do feel better. That's crazy because I think these thoughts all the time, and I don't feel better just thinking them. And you would think, well, you have to tell someone. And I guess I do know in the back of my mind that you're going to eventually hear this and see it. And so maybe that's part of the relief that I'm feeling, you know? Thanks.